Hi everybody, this is Dr. Shea with Align Life Chiropractic and Wellness. Today we're starting a brand new series of videos that I think is going to be incredibly impactful for you. This is called the 5 Pillars of Chronic Disease. Did you know that 4 out of 5 people in the United States of America pass away because of a chronic lifestyle disease every year? Did you know that the vast majority of these are actually ones that can be reduced, if not completely eliminated, based upon the way that we live? So key questions for us to start introducing: what exactly is a chronic lifestyle disease? Well, cancer, stroke, hypertension and heart disease, diabetes, osteoporosis, and obesity, to name just a few. So if any of these are impacting either yourself or someone in your family, then I think that this video is going to be perfect for you to give a really good listening to. And then I strongly encourage you to discuss this content later on with someone who you trust. Go through it and try to find a way to be able to implement as many of these strategies as we're going to lay out for you over the next 6 videos. First, keep in mind, as we start our journey, there's a few ground rules here. We first need to understand that your body is designed to be healthy. The natural state of a human being is 100% healthy and abundantly filled with energy. So I think it's really important that you recognize that you're supposed to be this way. And if there are things that are happening in your life from a sickness perspective or pain perspective, then you really need to begin to look at what are the things that you're doing that are causing your body to move in that direction and away from abundant health. The other piece of this is recognizing that your body is self-healing and it is self-regulating. When we get a cut, your body naturally goes in and heals the area. When we go to a high altitude, your body automatically changes the way that it carries oxygen in order for you to be able to carry a higher content of oxygen to adapt to that loss of oxygen because of being at a higher level. So your body is always working to getting you into a healthy space. Keep in mind that every organism, including plants, animals, and of course humans, we all have an ideal environment in which to live. So for example, if you're a polar bear, you're going to do really well in Arctic cold temperatures, but you're not going to do well in the Sahara Desert. Conversely, a cheetah can do well in a hot desert climate, but if we were to put it into, let's say, the Arctic, now all of a sudden that animal is going to struggle. A human being is the exact same way. There's an ideal environment in which a human can exist, and that will allow it to express abundant health. So the question that you should be asking yourself is, what environment should I be putting my body in order to be successful? And maybe another question would be, well, what it would look like, what would it feel like if I was doing that? How would I operate? How would I function? These are all things that I want you to begin running through your brain as we start laying out some of this information. I want to talk a little bit about the idea of stress. So in order to understand chronic lifestyle diseases, what we're talking about here is not short-term stress that your body has been exposed to. Instead, what we're talking about is very long-term, or what we consider latent effects, based upon the fact that your body has been put in an environment that causes it to adapt away from homeostasis and balance. So we have something called allostatic load. Allostatic load is the volume of stress hormones needed in your body in order for you to be able to adapt to the current environment that you're in. So when you're doing a really great job and your body's in a great environment, your ability to be able to sustain your lifestyle will be relatively easy, and it will allow you to express health. Conversely, if we are in a poor environment, meaning we're eating poorly, we're stressed out, we are lacking movement oftentimes, or maybe our structure is really poor and we're becoming weakened in that position. These are all stressors that have a chance to accumulate over time and can lead to these chronic lifestyle diseases. So we want to be able to understand that our baseline stress load is that allostatic load, and we want that to be as close to a homeostasis point as we can possibly create. Short-term stress, the body's okay with. Long-term stress, we have no adaptive qualities in our system. We're not designed to be able to handle this, and accordingly, it leads to disease. One more thing that I want to cover today before we kind of wrap up this introduction into this topic of lifestyle disease is We're always looking for ways to create purity and sufficiency in our lifestyle and eliminate toxicities and deficiencies. So a couple examples here. What do I mean by this? Purity means that we are getting the best quality ingredients in which to be able to have the right body shape and size and the quality of our structure, right? So what's an example of that? I think the concept of food is a really great place to talk about this, or water. If your water is of great quality and your food is of great quality, you're giving your body the raw materials necessary to be able to build a great human being. Conversely, if instead of purity, we have toxicity from a food perspective, maybe we're eating a lot of processed foods, refined sugars, a lot of things of that nature, then our body's going to be driven away from homeostasis and balance and into adaptive physiology, which is where all of that chronic lifestyle disease shows up. Next, let's talk about the idea of deficiencies versus sufficiencies. If we are sufficient in the category of movement, let's say, for example, that means we're getting enough movement into our body in a regular basis, in the right form and so forth, and it's going to be something that's going to help sustain our stress levels. If, on the other hand, we are deficient in the category of movement, then the body is going to be under stress and it will move us again towards sickness and disease. So many times when we experience an accumulation of these long-term stressors, it is really easy for us to really sort of avoid responsibility and jump to what can I do to make myself feel better immediately. And this is a trap that I see often especially play out from a chronic lifestyle disease perspective with drugs and medication. Now, if you're in a crisis situation, then drugs and medication are exactly what you should be doing. However, at the same time, you would also need to be implementing the lifestyle changes needed for you to actually get well in the big picture. We can't just take the medication, see a change in our physiology, maybe on a blood test or something, and then just assume that the problem is resolved. That is a Band-Aid fix that will never get you well, and ultimately you're just setting yourself up for a more catastrophic event down the line. So please, start understanding some of these concepts. I know I'm going rapid fire and I'm throwing this stuff at you, but I need you to understand these concepts first, because once you do, then when we start laying out these next 5 videos that are going to cover all of these things that are pillars in creating chronic lifestyle disease, you'll come from it from the right reference point. So I look forward to seeing you guys on the next video. Hope you have a great week. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.